Okay, I will ask you a few more questions on Linux. Okay, answer. Linux is came from which family?
Unix.
Who is the Linux developer?
Linus Torvalds.
Very good. When it is released?
1991 October 5.
Very good. How to check the CPU utilization, process usage, memory usage and RAM usage in the Linux?
Top.
How to check the disk space in the Linux?
TF.
Which command we can use to know the disk usage of a file in Linux?
PU.
How to check the system running time?
Uptime.
If I want to check any of the command library,
None.
every file and directory in Linux assigned owners, how many?
3.
What are those?
User 2 and other.
If I want to change or transfer the ownership of a file to the specified username,
chmod.
how many permissions will be having for one file?
3.
What are those?
Read, write and execute.
How permissions are granted under Linux?
chmod.
chmod stands for
Change
which command to see the date?
date.
Which command we can use to open the document or text file in Linux?
Cat.
Which command we use to change the directory?
CD.
Which command we use to edit the content in document?
PA.
Which command to use to know which directory you are in?
PW.
What is the full form of PWD?
Working dialog.
Very good. Which command to know what files are in the directory you are in?
Ls.
Which command to use to make a directory in Linux?
NKDIR.
Which command to use to remove a directory in Linux?
R1DIR.
Which command to use to create a file?
Touch.
Which command to use to remove the files?
R1.
To copy the files, which command we can use?
PP.
To move the files, which command we can use?
MD.
To rename the file name, which command we can use?
MD.
Which command is used to search a file in a Linux system?
PK.
If you want any command to be done with administrative or root privileges,
Sudo.
sudo stands for?
Super user group.
Very good. To compress the files, which command we can use?
And zip.
To extract the files, which command we can use?
And
Which command will show the information about the Linux system your Linux distro is running?
running.
To check your connection to a server, which command we can use?
Ping.
Which command to clean the terminal if it gets filled up with too many commands? Which command to clean the terminal if it gets filled up with too many commands? To clean the terminal.
Clear.
Very good. Which command can be used to stop any command in terminal safely?
Control C.
Very good. Which command can be used to stop the command force?
Control Z.
Which command we can use to come out from the terminal?
Exit.
Which command we can use to reboot the Linux system?
Reboot or exit.
Very good. To power off the Linux system, which command we can use?
Unix 0.
To install packages, which command we should use?
Repeat F1 get.
Very good. Which command we need to use to go back from a folder or directory to the folder before that?
cd space dot dot.
Which command to show you all of the last commands that have been recently used?
Free.
If you want to search a word in file, then which command you will use?
Grep.
Which command we can use to view the first lines of any text file?
Head.
Which command we can use to view the last lines of any text file?
Tail.
Which command we can use to compare the content of two files line by line?
If.
Very good. Which command we can use to see the process status?
PS.
Which command we can use to see the network status?
Net stack.
Which command we can use to see the user identity?
I.
Which command we can use to blocks or allows traffic on a Linux host similar to a network firewall?
IP table.
Which command can send a message to everybody logged in?
Wall.
Which command can send a message to one person who logged in?
Write system top.
To monitor performance of various Linux subsystems and also can collect the report. To collect the report. SAR full form.
System activity report.
Very good. Thank you.